All right. Can the Celtics achieve the impossible and come back from a 3-0 deficit? Well, if there's one team that can possibly do it against the Miami Heat, this Miami Heat team is probably Boston. Number one, Boston is the better team. Boston has more talent than the Miami Heat. Aside from Jimmy Butler and maybe Bam Adebayo, Celtics, they all have the better players. Number two, defending without fouling. If you noticed, those first three games where Miami Heat was blowing out the Celtics was going for every pump fake Jimmy Butler did. Butler was getting 10 to 12 free throw shots. Now what you see in Game 4 and from Game 5, Derek White has done a much better job staying down. If you can stay down on Jimmy Butler's pump fakes, you're going to limit him. Instead of him getting 30, he's going to get possibly 20, maybe 18 points. Because at the end of the day, his game mainly comes from the free throw line. Half of his shots, the majority of his points are from the free throw line. Or free throw line and ones. If you can stay down on Jimmy Butler, you can limit him. And then if you can limit him, who else you got? Bam? Bam is not as aggressive as you need him to be. And then also, three-point shots. Number three, three-point shot making. Miami Heat were one of the worst three-point shooting teams of the regular season. And all of a sudden, they just caught fire. They got hot in the playoffs. Shot very well against Milwaukee, against New York. And in the first three games, they were killing Boston, destroying Boston from the three-point line. Boston now are shooting like how they shot in the regular season. They were one of the best three-point shooting teams in the regular season. In the first three games, they weren't hitting shots. Make or mislead. They weren't hitting shots, and then they weren't taking good shots. They weren't taking good threes. Most of those threes were early in the shot clock. Derek White was struggling. Malcolm Brogdon, now we know, has a torn ligament in his elbow and forearm. So, one of your best three-point shooters can't shoot now, really. And then also, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were terrible from three-point range. Like, terrible. Now, you see, they're getting back to themselves. They're playing within the offense. And congrats to Joe Mazzulla for actually calling timeouts. Calling timeouts when it's needed. Game 1, when Miami Heat scored 45 points in the third quarter, you didn't see him really take a timeout like that. Had they took a timeout, that would have definitely cut off the momentum and they could have reset themselves. Joe Mazzulla, he's getting better coaching the game now. We were giving him hell the first three games. Now you gotta give him some credit the last two games. Boston is playing like the best team in the league. They're playing like the best team in the league aside from the Nuggets right now. And it's showing. Now, you got Game 6. Miami Heat, the pressure is all on them now. They should have closed them out. Should have swept them. You should have swept them. Because now, Boston has belief. Boston believes they can beat this team now. With the Lakers and the Nuggets, it's like 3-0. If the Lakers would have came back from Game 4, they would probably have had a little bit of confidence saying that they can probably beat the Nuggets. That didn't happen. Nuggets did what they were supposed to do. Close them out. Miami Heat could not close them out. So guess what's going on now? Now all the pressure's on Miami now. 3-1. Okay, yeah. You lose in Boston. Okay, now it's 3-2. You better win Game 6. Because right now, Boston plays their best when there's no pressure on them. Once they went down 3-0, there was no pressure on them because everybody was punching their tickets to the NBA Finals saying, it's going to be a boring finals between Denver and Miami. But hey, it is what it is. Now, Boston's like, hey, y'all didn't expect us to win anyway once we were down 3-0. We just playing free basketball. All the pressure's on Miami now. So, can Boston do the impossible? Yes, they can. But it all depends on Game 6. Miami Heat have to play hard in order to beat the Celtics, and the Celtics have to play not hard for Miami Heat to beat the Celtics. If both teams play hard, Boston wins. If both teams play hard, Boston wins because Boston is the more talented team, and when talent plays hard, they win every time against a team that just plays hard and doesn't have the best talent. So, Can Miami Heat make it to the finals? Of course. If Boston doesn't play hard, if Boston gets out of their rhythm, if Boston does what they did the first 3 games, then yes. But if Boston's playing the same way they're playing right now, connected on defense, turning their defense into offense, Boston will do the impossible and make it to the NBA Finals. But we have to see what happens in Game 6. So far, I first thought the series was boring because it was, blowout. Game 3 was terrible, the blowout. But now I'm enjoying the series. And honestly, in my opinion, not just because I'm a Celtics fan, I hope they get a Game 7. I hope they get a Game 7 because who wanted to see 2 conference finals end in sweeps? Then you get like 8 days to talk about nothing. And you know what the media was going to do. They're going to just talk about LeBron all day. They're still doing it now, but now we have something to look forward to in Game 6, and hopefully we get a Game 7. But Boston can do the impossible if they continue to play hard. If they don't play hard, this series ends in Miami.